Inside Football is proud to have Joey as our presenting partner. Nicotine with a quick hit, long tail, in the strength of your choice. As a thank you for being part of Inside Football's crew, we teamed up with Joey to give you a 35% discount on your first order. Get it all at meetjoey.com/football.
So the Patriots won the division last year. Before that, Buffalo had a stranglehold on it.
Josh Allen's got everything short of a Superman cape. Yeah. My question is, has Brandon Beane in that personnel department done enough to help and surround him?
I feel like it's Super Bowl or bust every year for them now. With the way Josh has been playing, the MVP, and the level he's been playing at every year, it's Super Bowl or bust.
You could honestly say over the last 5 years, their roster has got progressively worse.
Yeah,
with the best quarterback in the NFL.
All right, let's look at the AFC East here, because to me, I find this division fascinating for a lot of reasons. Obviously, the Bills had a stranglehold on this division for a while. Then Drake Maye gets drafted, and the Patriots turn around. But it's been an interesting offseason for New England for a variety of reasons. They have a much more difficult schedule this year than they had a year ago. And Steve, to me, when I watched the Patriots in the playoffs, it was clear we saw a different Drake Maye under center, albeit against 3 and 4 really good defenses. He was not the same guy in the postseason as he was in the regular season.
Right, and I think one thing, if you watch the tape, all quarterbacks deal with this. There were some protection issues as well. And, they drafted the left tackle with their first pick, and he did not play well in the playoff round.
Correct.
He faced some serious defensive edge rushers and sort of wilted in that pressure. Hopefully they can get that fixed. Obviously, they got to do some different things schematically to protect him. But it is encouraging to see the way Drake Maye played as a whole.
Campbell was injured, and he comes back, and he gets thrown into the fire, basically.
Big time.
But the thing that you like about Drake Maye, I actually did their first game of the year against the Raiders, and he missed some layups. Some true layups. But as you went through the season, and what you see is Josh was able to create all these routes, breaking away from leverage, and him being able to have a touch on the ball down the field, kind of us or nobody throws, and those guys being able to run under him. That was the impressive part, as the season went on in that stretch where they were so hot, how good he was at that.
I didn't realize how good he ran the ball.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, I saw that, when they had to pick up some first downs, he picked up some nice scrambles. So he throws it great, obviously, but I didn't realize how good of a runner he was. In key situations, he picked up some first downs there in the playoffs.
He's an athletic guy, and now he gets A.J. Brown. Diggs is gone, and A.J. Brown comes in. Obviously, A.J. Brown is looking to show a lot of people that I wasn't the problem in Philadelphia, and obviously this is a guy that New England really wants to have a big-time year. What do you see happening with that fit?
Well, the number one thing is, they have a tougher schedule.
Yeah.
But on paper, they are a better football team.
Yeah.
Because their ability to run the football and be physical, because that's what Vrabel, his team, they're going to be that. And you mentioned Josh did a great job with what he had. Now they have legitimately one of the 5 best receivers, which can dictate coverage, which they couldn't do with those other guys.
Right.
You got Stephon Diggs, engaged to Cardi B, having a baby by 2 or 3. There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot going on.
This is and I ain't talking. That's just the players.
Yeah.
Then we'll get to the coaches later on.
That he always talks about the disgruntled wide receivers.
No.
Well, listen now. Those guys have kept. They kept me in business. Somebody told me at the 4-letter network that you should be an expert on wide receivers and stuff that they do off season. So it's been, and then guys like you call me, hey man, I got a problem with this dude. Steve, you call me, hey man, I got a problem. What you think?
So what do you think about AJ there? Is he going to be a problem?
He's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
He's not going to be a problem. AJ is a solid guy. They had a lot of stuff going on there in Philadelphia.
We talked about that in the NFC preview.
And having your former coach and being familiar, and then now I've gone out and bailed you out of Philadelphia, and I've traded for you, and AJ up for a new contract. That money is a little bit old. So typically, we receivers, we're slow, but we catch on. And during the money years, we walk. Hey, we walk straight.
Not only getting a fresh start, getting a fresh start at a good organization who does a lot of things right. And he reminds me a lot of a guy named Anquan Bolden that I had in Arizona.
Sure.
And, guy that isn't a burner, but had great body control and explosiveness out of the cuts. I mean, he is a fun guy to watch, and he's physical with the ball in his hands.
Strong hands.
Yeah. One thing I was encouraged, because in South Florida, you see all these guys coming in to work out. But within 60 days of the Super Bowl loss, Drake Maye and all the wide receivers, they didn't have A.J., of course, at the time, but on his own, he was getting together with them. They were in South Florida. He was working out, and it was great to be able to see how he's attacking, because his ceiling is going to be determined on how well he throws the ball.
Yeah.
He's a great athlete, but throwing the ball at all different levels, which I do believe with Josh is a huge advantage. I do believe he's going to be one of the best in the league. He still has some growth, though.
You mentioned the relationship that A.J. had with his former coach, Mike Vrabel. Obviously, Mike Vrabel was in the news for a lot of reasons this offseason. I've said this before, if you win, everything's gravy, right? It's all good. But if they start 3-4, they start 4-5, and with a tougher division, how much do you think, Marvin, that changes the perception within the organization and within the fan base of what Vrabel is doing?
On to Cleveland.
On to Cincinnati.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the deal. I mean, you're right. You're going to hear all that outside noise will start. There's no question about it. We've had distractions this offseason and so forth, and that's going to be that's always a problem, to be able to block it out, because when the players leave the building, that's all they hear. They hear it from their family. They hear it from the guy at the Giant Eagle. Kroger, whatever they got, supermarket up there. That's who they hear. Yeah. They go on a radio show, and the guy wants to bring it up. Those kind of things. So they got to be able to block it out if that's what happens. But there's a lot of season left, though, here in the NFL.
I think one interesting thing that isn't talked about enough, Bill Belichick left that cupboard bare. Okay,
it's true.
And not only did he leave it bare, how quickly Elliott Wolf, their GM since Bill Belichick left, who is the son of former Green Bay Packer legend Ron Wolf, he has done a phenomenal job.
He's done a great job
putting pieces into place for that organization. Obviously, drafting the quarterback, and now with the hiring of Mike Vrabel, obviously they got something cooking.
Listen, I thought they should have hired Vrabel right away after Bill left. They didn't do that. And obviously, he's a guy who is tied into that team as well as anyone. And he has a defense that he can really work with there. That defense for the Patriots has a lot of playmakers on a lot of levels, Brian.
Yeah, they get after the football. I mean, any Vrabel coach defense, they don't make mistakes. It's the same as the Belichick. They're going to scheme you. They're going to pick at your weakness, and they're going to glare it on Sunday every week. That's what I remember. We played Patriots in 2010. And every time we blitz, they threw a hot, and they're always prepared for everything you do. They pick out your weaknesses, and they make them glare on Sunday. So I think they're good there. They just got to sure up some things, because in the playoffs there were some weaknesses aside from the Denver game, obviously, because the weather was so bad. But they're going to be going outside the football again.
And again, this is just me. Mike Vrabel has one of my favorite stat lines in the history of football. As a linebacker, his career stat line is 12 catches for 12 touchdowns in Super Bowl Sunday. 12 catches,
That's all we
12
do.
touchdowns.
Buckeye, man. That's all we do is catch touchdowns.
It's unbelievable. He had Super Bowl 38 and 39. He had a touchdown.
Yeah, I think one advantage to the Vrabel situation, even though a lot of people are avoiding talking about it, is when you have the type of ownership like Robert Kraft, who has seen one or two,
There have been some things.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that helps out your situation.
I would agree.
Compared to the other 31 owners. If you're talking about one of the top 5, if I get jammed up, what's one of the top 5 owners who I want to be able to tell, hey, boss, this is the news, and they might be more understanding, Kraft would be on speed dial.
Top of the list.
Yes, sir.
He got your representation ready to go, right?
Yeah, call this guy.
Look, before we get back into it, shout out to Joey Nicotine Pouches. Nicotine with a quick hit, long tail, in the strength of your choice. Synthetic nicotine, flavor beads technology, flavor that actually lasts. 36 flavors, 3 strengths, 108 ways to find yours. Built for adults who want a modern pouch. 21 or older? Very simple. Head to meetjoey.com and see what they've got. Appreciate Joey for making today's episode happen. Find a retailer near you at meetjoey.com/find-joey.
So the Patriots won the division last year. Before that, Buffalo had a stranglehold on it. I find Buffalo to be fascinating, Steve, on a lot of levels this year, because last year was the first time that Josh had made the playoffs and the boogeyman wasn't there.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs weren't there. There's no quarterback has ever started 0-4 against another quarterback in playoff history. And that guy wasn't there. He played really well against Jacksonville. He had a meltdown a little bit against the Denver Broncos, even though that last interception, you can say it should have been a reception and all that kind of stuff. He was sloppy with the ball.
Yeah.
And now Sean McDermott is out, and the guy who was running the offense is now in charge.
That's right.
So I have to me, if you didn't like the way the offense was going, right, why do you fire the coach to bring in the guy who was running the offense? Unless at every moment Sean McDermott was saying, don't do that.
Right.
And I don't think Sean McDermott was saying at every moment, don't do that.
Right. And the one thing about it is, I mean, listen, Josh Allen's got everything short of a Superman cape. Yeah. My question is, has Brandon Beane in that personnel department done enough to help and surround him?
Thank you.
To me, that is the key question there.
I think Steve hit it nail on the head. The defense has holes.
Yes.
Has holes.
Like, I watch people talk about Buffalo this offseason, and is Josh playing both ways?
Yeah. He needs to. He needs to.
Because, I mean, they have no quality level. Like, their defensive line is not dominant. Their linebackers, undersized, not dominant.
Both
Second
visible.
You could honestly say over the last 5 years, their roster has got progressively worse.
Yes.
With the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the whole Keon Coleman situation with Brandon, well, I wasn't my guy. Clearly, the video shows it was your guy. Like, I mean, their team, look, they're beloved in that city, Brian, for what they've done and the things that they represent to those good people in Western New York.
Right.
But, if they get off to a slow start, and there's going to be a lot of finger pointing up
We
there.
got a pretty expensive stadium we're about to go into.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I feel like it's Super Bowl or bust every year for them now. With the way Josh has been playing at the MVP and the level he's been playing at every year, it's Super Bowl or bust. So they're going to keep going through head coaches until it happens, I guess. But defensively, they got problems. Like you said, at every level, they're not dominant at any level. Ed Oliver up front, but who else do they have? Epinesa is pretty good as well, but there's no consistency at any level. They got DJ Moore on offense, which is going to help Josh more. Like, he needs more help over there. But I thought that was a big trade for them as well to get him. But defensively is where they're going to struggle.
Well, they got Rousseau, and he needs to sort of step up a little bit.
He's a good football player.
And then Bradley Chubb is there again, and hopefully he'll make something of himself. But
I think there's a lot of pressure on Joe Brady.
I would agree.
Think about this.
I would agree.
Here's a
with you
career
there.
assistant who was at LSU one time, had success there, but he's been a career assistant.
Yeah.
And Marvin could probably answer this best, but now all of a sudden you're inheriting a team that's got high expectations. Are you an offensive head coach and you have a defensive head coach, or are you going to be able to control the whole room?
That's the biggest thing when you step into that chair as the head coach. Have you had the opportunity to touch everybody? And now he has to. He's got a first-time coordinator in the National Football League on defense in Jim Leonard. So they got a lot of what ifs. And a lot of dealing with expectations and the personalities. Bosa, and who's had some skins on the wall, but he was basically invisible last year for them. And they need to step up on defense, because to me that's the difference in us talking about the Patriots with that young secondary they have, and the Bills. That's the difference right there.
So it's more than likely to come down to those two teams. And now we got to move on to the Jets. And this is,
We have to?
Yeah.
We kind of. Rory McIlroy has won 2 Masters since the Jets last had an interception.
Yeah.
That's how bereft
That was a wild stat.
He won in 2025.
Yeah, Trey, you have to stop.
They didn't have a single interception over 7. I didn't think that was possible.
That's hard
they
to
did
do.
not have a single
It's hard to
interception
do.
Oh, that's bad.
over last year. Then Rory went again. So he's got 2 more Masters jackets over the last year and a half than the Jets have interceptions, which seems impossible. But it also seems in many ways to sum up this organization.
Well, I'm going to tell you, going into this offseason, I had talked to a couple people about the Jets. And I was ready because we know Miami is either rebuilding or tanking. Because I'm just going to tell you, there might be a couple players with Miami ties that might be free agents. Lamar Jackson, that thing don't work out in Baltimore.
Yeah.
If he hit the street as a free agent, and the University of Miami lost a player out their backyard, Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah.
If they can get 1 or 2 or both those players next year, That's why I'm cheering for the Dolphins. Lose every game.
Yeah.
Because those players are going to be on the board for them. Yeah. But let me get back to my point as far as the division. Like, I got a source that told me I thought Aaron Glenn was going to be a better coach.
Yeah.
But I got a source that told me, pump your brakes. Because they were going to be one of the teams that we always see. There's 4 or 5 teams that win 2 to 4 games, and they jump up to 6 or 8 games. And I thought, and then they start breaking down their roster and their coaching staff, and I'm like, the Jets are going to be right where they were.
And there may be some bad karma there, Trey, because if I'm not mistaken, the last time Geno Smith was in that locker room, didn't one of his teammates break his jaw?
Ike Campanella broke his jaw.
Broke his jaw.
Yeah. I said, we'll really know they're going retro if they re-sign Ike Campanella. That's when you know if we're really doing this. They bring him back. And this is interesting for Geno because Geno went through all the crap with New York and then sort of found himself with the Seahawks and had a lost season with the Raiders, as a lot of people tend to do.
The Raiders are the lost stars.
Well, exactly. That's a whole separate issue. Like I ran into Robert Saleh in Tahoe and I said, I was praying you didn't get the Vegas job because no one should have their first 2 head coaching jobs being the Jets and the Raiders. You're done. Like there's no way to recover from that.
So 2 years ago, I'm sitting in John Schneider's suite at the Combine, and he looked at me and he said, "Would you pay Geno $38 million?" I said, "Absolutely not." I said, $32 million, draw a line in the sand and walk away. He walked away. How'd that turn out for him?
Worked out really well.
Chance.
And they have Sam Darnold, who, of course, as we all know, used to play for the Jets.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Subscribe to Inside Football.
Why? Because myself, Brian Urlacher, former general manager Steve Keim, Arizona Cardinals, and legendary coach Marvin Lewis, all on the set, telling great stories and giving you great insight that, guess what? It's not out there. You see what ESPN did? We put together a special group. Subscribe to what we're doing.
It's the right thing to do. I mean, we've got everything covered, and we're covering the season for you because we care.
Back to the Jets, by the way. Their defense, very disappointing last year.
Yeah, and that was supposed to be their thing.
I can't believe that stat. 0 picks.
0.
And
None. First time in NFL history.
They got some dudes up front that can get to have their quarterback, too, I thought. Well, they traded Quinnen, but, man, that's a terrible stat. It's not tip or nothing. You get tips or overthrows or something.
Tips and overthrows. We preach about them all the time.
Once again, another organization with no direction.
Yeah, well, I think that's the connective tissue here, right?
Yes.
I mean, I think that we see these organizations you talk about that routinely win 2 to 4 games and maybe max out of 6.
Talent.
It's what's the old saying? The fish rots from the head down. Yep. Right? I mean, and in the Woody Johnson era, no matter what you want to say about him, he's made a lot of money, he's done this, he's done that. They've been terrible.
He didn't. His family.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
They've been terrible. The Jets have been a terrible organization.
No, he was born sliding in the home. Not on third, sliding in the home.
He was halfway past the third base coach stealing home.
No question.
Yeah, he didn't lost that family
I think
money.
at one point they had Todd Bowles and Sam Darnold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
And look what happens. They talk about institutional issues.
You know, we've all been in the NFL a long time and around the NFL, and you see ownership groups and the ones that always have their ear to the wall. And that's the ones that always struggle.
Correct.
The ones that just keep their focus, stay on their day-to-day goals and direction, they got no problem. And they just keep winning, being successful. And I once had an owner call me in his office and say, now, you were in Pittsburgh, you were in Baltimore, you were at Cincinnati. Why are those teams, why are Pittsburgh and Baltimore always so successful? I said, they never change. I said, I could walk in tomorrow and I could call the defense. I know how they pick players, I know how they do things, how we evaluate, and that's the difference. And these other teams are always listening to somebody else. Well, somebody said this in Wall Street Journal or this or that, and that's the damn problem, where they're listening to, it's crazy.
Copycat league.
Yeah.
And sadly, sometimes, according to the stories, they were listening to his sons and kids and nephews telling Woody Johnson what to do with these players.
I mean, that's what,
That's not a formula for success.
Speak to a former coach who said that was the deal. I mean, are you kidding me?
It's not what you're looking for. And then there's Miami, and you sort of glanced on it. What is the plan? What is the plan, Steve, from an organization standpoint?
My hope would be this. You have a good football guy in John Eric Sullivan taking over as general manager, who hires a coach from Green Bay. So now at least they understand institutional success at Green Bay. So hopefully they can bring a lot of what they've done there and implement that and that system into their culture. And hopefully, cream rises to the top. But it's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah, this is a rebuild, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
And the thing about Green Bay is you have to respect the uniqueness of that situation.
Correct.
Like anytime you go to Green Bay, I remember my first time going to Green Bay, I swore I was back in Middletown High School going to play at Cincinnati Princeton, and we were just riding on the bus, and next thing, the stadium is there.
It's right in the middle.
And, you know, they do put a good product on the field, but those fans have had tremendous patience. They show up every week. In Miami, that's not the case.
Yeah.
So from a media standpoint, they're not going to have the support. They're not going to have the fan support. And guess what? There's sun out there. People don't have to spend their money. So people want to be entertained.
A lot of other things to do.
I like
Yes.
Arizona.
So-
transient town as well, and you got to win to get the people.
So I worry about that. I worry about their talent level because their talent level is in the the bottom third in the National Football League, and those players get just as distracted as good players.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen a lot of their good players the last 20 years be distracted in Miami.
Correct.
Now, these average players, they're going to be distracted, so I don't look for Miami to be able to do anything for at least 2 years.
Do you like the quarterback head coach marriage, Joe? Coming from Green Bay, played in the system for the coach at Green Bay for a couple of years. Malik Willis did.
Well, this is what they took a safer bet. They didn't have many options, though.
Yeah.
You know, now, proof of concept, 6 games, I need a little more proof than that. But at least they got in at a buy-in price that they're not going to suffer because they got enough people they still paying on their payroll from past that aren't playing for them. So
you always got to have a guy that can bridge that gap, at that position, obviously, just to keep yourself.
And more importantly, a guy who knows that's probably his role.
No doubt.
That's the thing I like about Malik Willis. I always say, know who you are and know who you're not.
Right.
He knows what he is and what he is.
yeah, and they know him.
But unlike the Jets, in fairness to Miami, they have a new staff in place, and you got to give them a couple years and a chance.
Yes.
Well, because they had a whole discipline problem there, too, within the building.
Yes.
There was no direction from the top.
Yes.
And the top, no direction, but then even the head coach and so forth, it was a struggle. Because there was no interaction with the players. You can sit there and call your plays on the sideline, but if you can't reach inside them dudes and pull some shit out of them, you got no chance.
Yeah. And you mentioned the cupboard bare in certain places. The cupboard is bare in terms of playoff success. Miami Dolphins have not won a playoff game since December 30th of 2000. Wow. That's how long it's been since they have had any sort of success when it comes to the postseason. So that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Hey, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button because the next video is about to drop has been curated just for you. Touchdown. I don't know what to do with my hands. This is awkward. Madonna, strike a pose, Vogue.